You're watching Investigation Discovery on Demand.
A hard-working family man is living the American dream.
They just bought it for us.
Until an accident leaves him saddled with debt.
I need some money, and I need some money right now.
He surrenders to his darkest impulses.
When I saw that note, I went into shock.
The thief becomes addicted to the thrill of the score.
I felt like he was hiding something.
But that greed will eventually be his downfall.
You live a life of crime, you're gonna get caught. It's just a matter of time.
Get out of the car now!
No criminal wants to go to prison, so some go on the run. This is the story of how one man almost got away with it. South Central Los Angeles, 1993. 17-year-old Jaime Jones and his best friend Cornelius are being chased by a group of gang members on their way to school.
Oh, man, we don't need any problems. You just got some problems.
Things quickly escalate.
What you talking about, though? Who are you? Hold on.
It started off as a fight. We were all fighting. The next thing you know, bang, 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 bang. Everybody takes off running.
Everyone but his friend Cornelius.
Cornelius, no!
Somebody pulled a gun out and killed him. Man, right in front of me.
Help! Someone help!
South Central's a very bad place, man. It really messed me up for a long time.
Jones vows to escape South Central as soon as he graduates. But with limited means, college isn't an option. He's forced to rely on the only resources he's got: sheer grit and determination.
My mother was always a working lady. She worked 2 jobs for years. She would always tell me, you gotta work to get things you want. So I started working young. It's a Panamanian thing. We just love to work, man.
On weekends, he works at a bank.
Hey, Mr. Hamilton.
Hey, Jaime, how's it going?
You're here kind of late.
Oh, yeah. Checking the bay money for all the stations.
I was cleaning up the place. I dumped trash cans. I mopped the little kitchen areas.
But he's barely making enough money to scrape by. When Jones is offered a job by a driver at a high-end moving company, he jumps at the chance.
We were going up to like these $1 million homes in Malibu and Laguna Niguel and Newport.
He helps unload the goods when they reach their destination. The job pays cash.
Sometimes you'd move a top-notch executive, you know, the type of guy who's got a full-length basketball court and 6-car garage port.
What's with the stupid grin on your face?
Man, so this is how the other half lives, huh?
It's a world Jones has never seen before.
It was almost like an escape for me. One day I'm in a neighborhood where it's gang infested. The very next day, man, I'm up in Rolling Hill Estates overlooking the ocean. Definitely a life-changing experience, because I'm like, wow, I need to strive for better, man. I need to do better, and I can do better.
It's not long before the enterprising young man is driving a truck of his own.
By the time I turned 22, I was driving a bobtail. Some people call them box trucks. My ultimate goal was to become a Class A driver and drive the actual tractor-trailer big rigs, because those guys made real good money. $100 grand a year, easy.
Jones logs hundreds of hours and thousands of miles behind the wheel, working towards his goal.
Who's that?
Then one day, he gets blindsided by a bus driver named Kelsia.
I'm like, wow, man, she's gorgeous.
Excuse me. How are you doing?
Hi.
She drove for a bus company that transported children. So I approached her and asked her if she had somebody in her life.
I think he followed me. He was trailing my bus for a long distance, and I'm like, who is this guy?
Yeah, well, I noticed you too. Like you were following me.
No, I wasn't following you.
The two drivers embark on a romance.
He's a charmer. He knew how to talk to women.
I wooed her, I guess you say, right?
The couple soon move into a small apartment where they live with Kelsia's daughter from a previous relationship.
Her father wasn't really in her life at all, so I had become like a stepfather to her.
He just took her in his life and just never turned his back.
She's an angel.
Things are going great, and just 10 months after meeting, wedding bells ring. Jones is determined to give his new family the best life possible. In 2004, after nearly a decade on the road, 28-year-old Jones finally gets his Class A license to drive big rigs.
I started hitting the road. I'd run up and down California, and the money was rolling in fast.
Within a year, Jones is able to make good on his dream.
So what do you think?
It's nice, but why are we here though?
Because I just bought it for us.
Oh my God!
It's a far cry from South Central.
Baby, it's beautiful. I love it.
You love it?
The house is in Moreno Valley, an upscale community in Southern California's Inland Empire.
It's no better feeling, man, than to see your family happy and to know that you've made something happen for them.
Oh my
The timing couldn't be better. Jones and Kelsia have already added one daughter to their family, and another's on the way.
Just nice family, neighborhood, kids everywhere running around. That's when I finally felt like I made it.
There you go, man.
But just 2 years later, disaster strikes.
I was on a loading dock, and the dock was slippery, and I slipped on it and fell off the loading dock.
Hey, you alright, man?
I fell about 4 feet. I bruised my back. I could barely stand up. I was hurt bad, man. I barely made it home.
A visit to the doctor reveals a cluster of herniated discs in Jones's lower back.
Sometimes I barely made it out of bed. I would try to work, but couldn't even climb in a truck. I couldn't even raise my leg to climb in. That's when I knew I was going to be out for a while. It took me, maybe about 8 months to start walking comfortably. But I still would have the sharp pains.
As an independent contractor, Jones isn't entitled to workers' compensation benefits. With no way to earn an income, it's not long before Jones is buried under a pile of medical bills and overdue mortgage payments.
I'm constantly negotiating with the bank, and the bank was not working with me.
I'm working on it. Just give me a few more weeks.
They're calling and calling every single day.
Hey, baby.
Hey, man.
Kelsia picks up extra shifts at her sales job with a medical supply company.
Baby, look, don't stress, okay? Things are going really good at work, so, I'll take care of it.
But it's not enough.
She's the only one bringing money in, which wouldn't cover a drop of the bills we had.
By November of 2008, Jones has been out of work for a year and is more than $30,000 in debt. Things reach a critical breaking point.
I came home to a foreclosure notice on the door. My heart dropped that day.
Jaime? What is this? Please tell me we are not gonna lose the house, Jaime.
Jones has 30 days to come up with the money he owes, or his family gets tossed out into the street.
I need some money, and I need some money right now. There's no turning back.
32-year-old Jaime Jones has been out of work for a year and is now in danger of losing his dream home. He's now contemplating robbing a bank to keep a roof over the heads of his wife and 3 daughters. Jones becomes a dedicated student of bank heists gone wrong. Why they failed, what criminals could have done better, their methods. He knows some of the risks from working at the bank in high school.
I remember the manager telling me we keep what's called bait money, and that's for guys who come in to rob us.
Bait money?
Pretty good trick. We've got a $100 bill on top, $1 bill is underneath, so we hand that to someone if they try to rob us.
Bait money is a stack that looks like, I don't know, $50,000. But in all actuality, it's $1,500.
That's slick.
The real money is in the drawer beneath the bait money, but there's a catch that can trip up a novice robber.
There's a die pack in it.
Another trick. We got a die pack in some of these.
Die pack?
Yeah. We trigger it as soon as they walk out the door. Boom.
The whole idea of a die pack is when you walk outside the bank, once you get a certain amount of feet, it automatically explodes. I would tell them, make sure you leave the die pack out. Time went on, days, weeks. I'm like, you know what? If I do this the right way, I can get away with it.
He comes up with his own criminal code.
I never was a violent person into hurting people. I know I'm not gonna go in the bank with no gun. No. You don't wanna do that. What if I use a note, man? A lot of people do that.
Now that Jones has the how of the robbery worked out, the next question is where.
I knew I couldn't rob a bank that had security, because the last thing I needed was some gun-ho security guard trying to get in my way.
He spends a week scouting potential targets throughout the Inland Empire, until he picks a bank just a 30-minute drive from his front door.
We have a winner.
All he needs now is a disguise.
I know I couldn't just walk in there and just reveal my face. I kept telling myself, what could I do to change the way I look?
November 26th, 2008. Jones decides today's the day.
It was like, you know what? I need to do this, man.
He waits until his wife leaves for work, then dons an elaborate disguise inspired by a nasty accident he saw on the local news.
What if I looked like I was in a car wreck? All busted up.
He uses band-aids to cover his fingertips to avoid leaving prints, and extra coats to add heft to his naturally slim frame.
I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this.
But when Jones pulls up across the street from the bank, he suddenly gets cold feet.
I'm thinking like, I can't do this, man. I can't, it's not me. I had no criminal record. I had never, ever been arrested. Zero. You're literally dealing with a tug of war in your brain.
Let's do this.
In the end, his fear of life on the street trumps his fear of life in a cage.
Deep down inside, I didn't want to do it. But I didn't want to be a failure to my family.
Jones gets in the line of Darlene Vaquero. The young teller is fresh out of college and has been working at the bank for all of 3 months.
You're just waiting, getting closer and closer. The feeling that you get from that, knowing that if you get caught, you're gonna go away, it's hard to even describe it. I wanted to leave right then and there, man.
Yeah, you too.
But once I got to the teller, there was no turning back.
How can I help you today, sir? Right away, I was just like the usual greeting. I remember seeing a bandage on his nose, he had a hat on, and he had a neck brace. I just thought, okay, he was just having a bad day. The first thing he did was he slipped a note. So I just grabbed it. I thought maybe he couldn't talk. Maybe he's, deaf or something.
When she reads the note, her blood runs cold.
Don't be stupid. I have a gun. Give me your money, and nothing will happen. I just couldn't believe this was happening.
Darlene doesn't see a gun, but she's terrified all the same.
So I did what he asked me to do. He just took the money and left.
Jones walks out with 10 grand.
I was numb. I just walked over like a zombie to my coworker and I just told him.
I just got robbed.
Robbed?
He just left. He just left.
We have to call this in.
I was traumatized for a while.
Meanwhile, Jones fights to stave off a panic attack. It felt like I was never going to get to my car, like it was a football field away. I started to feel like I was choking, because I couldn't believe what I did. Jones's nerves are scraped raw. That choking feeling lasted at least 15 minutes, where I was just gasping for breath, just in shock at what I had done. It was so surreal, man. He's certain it's only a matter of time before police track him down and put him behind bars. Jaime Jones is a clean-cut family man who's just robbed his first bank. He needs the money to pay off a mountain of debt. He's convinced law enforcement is right on his heels. I'm thinking like, I'm done. I'm gonna get caught, they're gonna put 2 and 2 together. But then, it goes quiet. I'm looking in the mirror, I couldn't believe no one was behind me. Jones makes it all the way home, without incident. Wow, I made it, I'm safe. I did this, oh my God. You wouldn't think it would be that easy.
In today's top story,
The freshly minted bank robber parks himself in front of the TV for hours, eyes glued to the screen. I just had become really, really, really paranoid, man. I'm thinking like, this is gonna be big. They're gonna have a news conference or something.
I'm Jason Keeler. This is a news update.
But so far, there isn't a single mention of the crime.
Well, we've got an interesting week of weather coming up. On Monday, you can see.
I can't believe it. Nothing.
Never came on. Still, he's gripped by the fear of getting caught. I couldn't even sleep that night.
Baby, you alright?
Yeah, I'm okay, baby.
I'm thinking, what if somebody saw me? What if somebody followed me home? In the days following the heist, Kelsia notices a change. But it's not in her husband's behavior.
He wasn't acting different. No change in the way he was acting towards me or my children.
The bill collectors, on the other hand, seem to have disappeared.
Baby, did you pay off this credit card bill?
There wasn't no more foreclosures on the doors. The bills just started getting paid.
Actually, I paid it off.
I'm just thinking that maybe he's getting better. His injury is better.
I'm back to work. Sort of.
And what does sort of mean?
I made up a story.
I did a sign estimate.
Let's say you go out and do a job, like a major pack and load job that's gonna pay you $20,000. And they paid a percentage of it off the top.
Baby, that's great.
We got a big advance for it. She wouldn't notice anything, because this is what she's used to. She's used to money coming in. A week goes by with no mention of the robbery. Nobody's worried about this. I know it was wrong. I know I scared that teller. I gotta live with this, man. That I scared this lady. But at the same time, I didn't hurt her. I didn't pull a weapon out on her. Jones is thirsty for another sip from the well. It was a one-time thing in my mind, but it was so easy to get away with it.
could do this again and really get out of debt.
December 8th, 2008. Jaime Jones is about to rob his second bank. Once again, he's armed with nothing but a note. Minutes later, there's $15,000 in cash tucked into his pocket.
I can't believe how easy this is. This is unreal.
His total haul after 2 robberies, 25 grand.
Just 2 weeks before, I'm losing my house, I'm in complete debt, and here it is 2 weeks later, I'm completely out of debt almost. I can cover what I need to cover, and I'll be okay.
Once again, Jones obsessively scans the news, waiting for the hammer to fall.
Nothing. Absolute nothing after I did the second one. Same situation. I'm thinking, I need to stop this.
But he can't resist the temptation.
As ignorant and crazy as that sounds, I just wanted to go back and do it again. It was too easy. There was no doubt I couldn't get away with it again.
He strikes again 16 days later on Christmas Eve at a bank in Riverside. His latest heist adds another $20,000 to his growing stash of cash.
Merry Christmas to me.
The third time, greed, pure greed.
Jones can't resist spoiling his wife.
I got one more surprise for you, though.
Oh my goodness, baby, it's beautiful.
More money in our bank statements. And so I'm like, okay, this is different now.
It's beautiful, but baby, how much did this cost?
So I had to come up with another lie.
Don't worry about it, baby. I got a few guys working for me, helping me out. Don't worry about it.
If worse comes to worse, they'll help hoist me in a truck.
It's beautiful. I love it. Thank you.
I was comfortable with that. I trusted him.
A few days later, the media drought officially comes to an end. Jones has even earned himself a nickname, the Neck Brace Bandit.
I'm reading an article. They're saying this guy robbed multiple banks. Be on the lookout. That scared the hell out of me.
But his paranoia cools when he realizes he's unrecognizable.
It was just a blurred picture. You still couldn't tell it's me. We're living in a time of satellites and technology is at its best, but this is the best picture they got of me. I felt in my heart, man, I got away with this, I'm good.
What he doesn't know is that several law enforcement agencies have secretly been on the hunt for the Neck Brace Bandit all along.
Tell me what happened.
He was wearing a neck brace?
I saw him drive away. He was in a black sedan with dark rims.
The FBI were involved. The Corona Police Department, because 2 of the robberies occurred in Corona, and then it was the Riverside Sheriff's Department.
The apparent lack of media coverage has been intentional.
If there's no reason to make it public, why should we, right? We don't need to let him know how his MO is helping us identify him or what information's been provided because he might change what he's doing.
Investigators have been piecing together strands of information from each robbery. Despite his disguise, they have a general idea of what he looks like.
A black male, about 200 pounds, about 6 feet.
And they know his car.
It was an older model Mercedes with kind of big flashy rims. It didn't have any plates on the back.
By December 27th, 2008, police have a suspect in custody.
So you gonna tell me also that you don't drive a black sedan?
Yeah, I drive a black sedan, but there's a million black sedans.
It was an individual who matched the general description. This individual, they happened to be on probation.
You guys have my rap sheet. You guys know what I do.
He was picked up for a probation violation and arrested. And because his car was a black vehicle that had large rims on it, we thought he was potentially a suspect.
You know that wasn't me.
While police are busy interrogating the person of interest, the real bandit is across town, plotting his next score. Jones targets a bank inside a small shopping plaza. But before he makes his move, he does a little recon.
Yeah, can I help you?
Yeah, I was wondering, you guys got any surveillance cameras in the parking lot?
Why do you ask?
Well, somebody hit my car outside, and I was hoping that we could get some footage of it.
We don't have cameras outside. We only have cameras inside.
Oh no.
All right.
There's no cameras outside in front of our business, only on the inside. And that's why I decided to do that particular bank.
Jones returns later that day, dressed as the neck brace bandit.
The reason why I decided to do a fourth one, because I was thinking in the back of my mind, I may not be able to go back to work for quite some time. And I could just stack this money up and be all right. The teller just kept looking at me. He noticed that the teller was fumbling. I'm looking at him like, oh man, this dude is looking at me a little too hard. Is he a cop? It was terrifying. I just knew that they had me.
December 28th, 2008, Corona, California. Just moments into his fourth heist, serial bank robber Jaime Jones, aka the Neck Brace Bandit, is convinced police are finally onto him. Instead, Jones calmly walks out with 10 grand.
So I pull out the bank, and I turned and looked to my right. He was right there, man, on a phone.
Yeah, I see him. He's in a black car. Yeah, he's getting away.
I get maybe about half a block away.
Just then, his heart leaps into his throat.
I just walked out the bank from robbing it, and here's a cop right in my face. And he drove by, man. I started zigzagging through the neighborhood, taking back streets, and man, I'm shocked. They never came. No helicopters, no cars. Nothing.
Meanwhile, just 20 miles away, an innocent man is still in custody.
Let's go over this one more time.
Riverside police still haven't ruled the man out as a suspect.
I didn't rob the bank. I don't rob banks.
The robberies continued. Same MO, same information, same description on the vehicle, same description on the suspect.
This is your lucky day. This is my lucky day. You get to go home. My lucky day. This is your lucky day. You're lucky I don't sue you guys for keeping me in here for this long. Got me in handcuffs. Come back here. What are you guys doing?
Realize, okay, well, it's not him because the crimes are still occurring and it's the same information.
As the suspect is released from custody, the real culprit sits at home, watching the story of his latest robbery top the 10 o'clock news.
Gentleman being coined as a neck brace bandit
I was like, oh my God.
is being sought after by the FBI and local law enforcement for a string of bank heists.
This is gonna get bad.
Jones is overcome by the fear of getting caught.
Babe, you alright?
I felt like he was hiding something. Wasn't telling me the whole truth.
I'm just tired, baby.
The bandit has no plans to come clean.
You never, ever tell anyone what you've done, man. Because if I'm gonna go down, I'm going down alone.
I'll see you upstairs.
To explain where the money keeps coming from, he cooks up stories about jobs out of town and disappears for days at a time, pretending to be at work.
Okay.
I should be back by Sunday, baby. Take care.
Bye.
I'd tell her I'm on a business trip. She wouldn't even question me.
Jones stays in hotels or with friends in Los Angeles. Other times, he sleeps in his truck.
I was drinking very heavy. The guilt was there. I couldn't just get it out of my head. It like haunted me. It taunted me every day. I just try to drink it away.
Despite the guilt, he's hooked.
As ignorant as it sounds, I felt like I've got this down. They haven't caught me. They don't have a clue who I am.
On January 17th, Jones pulls off a fifth heist in Moreno Valley. Then on January 31st, bank teller April Powell has no idea she's about to become the neck brace bandit's sixth victim.
How can I help you?
I remember like it was yesterday. It said, I have a gun. Give me $10,000 in an envelope. Think about your coworkers. I wasn't about to question him. I never saw a gun, but he said he had one, so I wasn't gonna risk it. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that just happened to me.
We just got robbed. We just got robbed.
It was terrifying. I remember like bawling. I was scared.
Police officers arrive minutes later, but Jones is long gone.
He came in and he had a neck brace.
I thought he was gonna get away. I didn't think there was any way for them to catch him.
After 6 bank robberies and more than $80,000 in stolen currency, Jones is feeling good.
Here you go, baby.
Oh, thanks, baby.
You're welcome.
I was in a good position in life, I felt. I was happy. I had money. I hadn't got caught. Everything's good. It's all smiles around the house.
But he's been careless.
I guess I got too cocky and thinking that, hey, I got away with it so far. They're not going to do anything to me.
He's used the same car for every single robbery. Worse yet, the vehicle has very noticeable features.
It had these distinct all-black wheels.
It's little details like these that lead to big breaks for law enforcement.
Yeah, he's getting away. He's in a black Mercedes.
When you have the specific model of the vehicle with those rims, it really does narrow it down, especially since we're not talking about the entire county, the entire state. It's a small territory that was being looked at.
There's a bunch of black Mercedes out there. I didn't think it would come back and bite me later on. It's true what they say, man. When you do wrong, it comes back for you.
On February 11th, 2009, Jones senses something isn't right.
These guys look like a couple of hillbilly-like guys, you know? They kind of look out of place right here. It just felt weird. When I fired my car up, they fired their truck up. As I was pulling out, these guys get behind me.
Jones drives a few blocks, slow and steady, heart pounding in his chest.
Be cool. When I looked in my mirror, I saw the walkie-talkie, man. I guess I got too cocky. Here comes an unmarked car speeding up the far right. He put his siren on.
When Jones hits a dead end, all hell breaks loose.
Get out of the car now! Hands up!
Serial bank robber Jaime Jones has narrowly avoided arrest 6 different times.
Yeah, I see him. He's in a black car.
Now the neck brace bandit is surrounded.
Get out of the car now!
They pulled in right there, and they all drew their guns.
On your knees!
When they handcuffed me, a guy walked up with 3 letters on his jacket that petrified me. The FBI.
You know why he pulled you over today? No, sir. I don't. Car matching this description was used to rob a bunch of banks.
I'm like, oh my God. This is it, man. I'm going away the rest of my life.
Jones is held in the back of a squad car. Police search his vehicle and find a receipt that is especially interesting.
This same FBI agent comes over and says,
So you like smoothies, huh?
Smoothie?
You know what? Why don't we go down to the station and talk this over?
the receipt that was left in my car. That was a major link.
It's from a juice bar and dated December 29th, the day Jones committed his fourth robbery. It's also from the same shopping plaza as the bank. Investigators strike oil inside an auto parts store.
How are you doing today?
Good, how you doing?
Recognize the man in these photos? When they interviewed the clerk at the auto parts store, he said an individual, a black male with a black Mercedes, had come in asking about surveillance.
Well, somebody had my car outside, and I was hoping that we could get some footage of it.
They showed him a picture of me. He said, oh yeah, that linked me to that one.
Armed with a positive ID on Jones, police conduct follow-up interviews with bank employees from the robberies.
It would really help the investigation if we could at least have you take a look.
Employees like April Powell.
The police came and got me one day from work and took me to the station where he was located.
Okay, so take a look at the suspect.
They had me identify him face to face, which terrified me.
Is this the man that you saw that day? You're sure?
Yeah, that's him.
They had him right in front of me, 5 to 10 feet away from me. I felt nervous and kind of sick to my stomach.
Jones is left to contemplate his new future as property of the state. The following afternoon, his wife Kelsia gets the shock of her life.
What is going on, sir?
I was crying hysterically. I was like, what is going on?
Hello? Officer, can I get some
There was lots of different items of evidence that linked him back to the robberies.
What does this have to do with my husband? He's at work, sir.
A puffier black jacket was found when they searched his home.
When police present their findings to Kelsia, she's baffled beyond words.
Do you recognize these?
Sir, I've never seen those before ever in my life.
They're in your home, ma'am.
Sir.
They asked, do you think your husband would go and rob banks? I said, rob banks? No, never. They asked my occupation at the time. I worked as customer service doing medical supplies. They assumed that I can get him medical supplies to help him with the crime because he would put tape over his nose and a neck brace around his neck.
Please, I can't go to jail. I have kids. I have a job. I'm gonna lose my job.
But police have no grounds to hold her.
Do not leave town.
They uncuff Kelsia and head back to the station.
What the hell is going on? Oh my gosh.
He was crying the whole time. I was like, honey, what's going on? I kept asking questions. Did you do this? And his answer kept being, everything's gonna be okay.
Stop telling me everything's gonna be okay.
The Jones family's whole world is about to be turned upside down.
We arrested you because we have a mountain of evidence here. There's surveillance from the bank.
Even the smart ones, eventually they're gonna get caught. Because something's gonna give. You commit that many crimes, you're gonna leave traces even if you don't think you are.
Jones sees no way out and confesses. He faces up to 15 years in state prison. But his clean record prior to the crime spree and the nonviolent manner in which he carried out the crimes leads to a reduced sentence of 5 years. While Jones struggles on the inside, his cash-strapped family lives out his worst fears on the outside.
Is this your first time here, honey?
Yeah, it is.
They lose their house, and Kelsia and her 3 girls are forced to live in a homeless shelter.
Wow, my oldest, she was like the strong one that, tried to keep all of us together. She always told me, Mom, you're doing good. We're gonna get through this. I would work like minimum wage jobs
One paycheck at a time, Kelsia claws her way back to financial independence. After a year, she moves her family out of the shelter into a modest apartment just 20 miles from the home she was forced to leave. Sitting in his cell, Jones is full of regrets.
I crossed a very serious line. Believe me when I say this. There's nothing nice about going to prison. There's nothing nice about it. Money don't bring happiness, man. At all. I'm living proof. I want to apologize to every single bank teller and every bank that I went into. I apologize to you from the bottom of my heart.
He didn't hurt anybody, which I'm very glad to hear. So if he's apologizing and expressing his apologies for that, I'm willing to accept that.
I'm glad people change, and it's kind of nice knowing that he felt bad for what he did and that he would apologize.
When Jones completes his sentence in May of 2015, the reunion with his family is bittersweet.
It was just a whole bunch of crying and hugging.
No amount of money is worth it going away to prison. You miss everything. I missed 5 Christmases, 5 birthdays.
Today, Jaime Jones is back at work driving big rigs. He's grateful for his job and for the family who stuck by his side during his darkest hours.
Coming home to my family and them still loving me and respecting me, it was a major thing. I would never put them in that position again. Here.
Thank you for watching Investigation Discovery on Demand. You're watching Investigation Discovery on Demand.
All right, this is a robbery.
A ruthless teen gets hooked on a dangerous habit.
Come on, you can do it.
You were doing it for the money and for the thrill of it.
Give me the money. Open it.
Until a botched holdup turns tragic.
It was a very horrible scene, but when you know someone, it makes it more personal.
He commits to pulling off the impossible.
The first thing I'm thinking as soon as I go to jail is I want to escape.
And incites a dangerous game of cat and mouse.
It was highly likely that he was going to get away. We had to get him back.
Don't move. Don't move.
No criminal wants to go to prison, so some go on the run. This is the story of how one man almost got away with it. March 1999. The outskirts of Houston, Texas.
Now you have a nice day, okay? Alrighty.
17-year-old Daryl Norris enters a small convenience store. He's spent most of his young life in trouble with the law.
When I first got in trouble, I was robbing gas stations and little stores, not with a gun or anything. I would just break into them when they were closed. But then I graduated to robbing houses.
Now Norris is about to up the ante with a face-to-face robbery.
I had a large bolt inside of a bag I was holding to give the effect that I might be holding a real gun.
This is a robbery. Calm down, son. Give me the money. Come on, old man. I ain't got all day. Whoa.
The budding criminal's first holdup delivers a rush of adrenaline.
You get a high off of it. You feel like Superman.
Boom.
Robbery's a tough crime to solve.
Come on, man. You gotta go.
People who get away with it get some type of confidence, and then it escalates.
Oh.
Hey.
Norris gets back to his father's house to share the score with his sister Denise.
What'd you get?
Your favorite?
The siblings have been extremely close ever since their mother committed suicide 6 years ago.
After my mom died, we kind of raised each other. Because my dad was never there most of the time. He drove a truck.
Hey. Where'd all this come from?
Don't worry about it.
I knew that there was something going on, so I would question him about it.
What's the matter? We got food, we got money, we got everything we need. Leave it alone.
He didn't want me being a part of whatever it is he felt he needed to do to take care of his sister.
January 2000. Nearly 1 year after his first major crime, Norris has now committed multiple robberies across the greater Houston area.
It doesn't surprise me at all that Daryl was able to stay under the radar as long as he was. Any crimes that he committed was in a more metropolitan area where those things happen every day.
Right over here. All right, everybody, this is a robbery. You, back to your chair. Come on.
Hands up. What are you doing? Let me see your money.
Anybody holding out? Anybody?
2 men. They're robbing everybody in there. Yes, they're still here.
Nobody moving. Nobody gets shot. You, to the register. Come on, faster.
We bought some look-alike guns, BB guns. Nobody could tell the difference.
All right, come on. Get the money out of the register.
Norris is no longer just robbing to survive. He now has an addiction.
Come on, you can do it.
It got to the point to where you were doing it for the money and for the thrill of it.
Come on, give me the money.
You get out of control and there's no limit until you get caught.
All right, stay right there.
And tonight, the young criminal's luck is about to run out.
You could see from each side police sirens and cars coming. We knew we were going to prison.
Back up! Come move back! Put your hands on your head!
That night was definitely a nightmare. It was a life-changing event.
Norris is charged with 2 counts of armed robbery. Because he has a long juvenile record, he's tried as an adult.
Not one person was injured during this act.
Whether he had a BB gun, a real gun, or his hand inside a bag, it's the same crime. You're putting that person in fear of their life, and you're taking something from them.
I've heard enough. That boy terrified those people. I'm sentencing your client to 15 years in prison. Bailiff, get him out of here.
My father just didn't want anything to do with the situation, pretty much.
Get up.
At 17, I received 15 years aggravated. I was just a kid, you know.
January 2008. Norris is released on parole after 8 long years. He is now 26 years old. He spent his time in prison working towards a college degree.
So good to see you.
And plans to turn over a new leaf, free of crime.
You ready to go home?
Yeah. I wanted to continue college outside and wanted to start a family.
I was very happy. I gave him a place in my home. My husband and I helped him to get a job. We had him set up with everything he needed.
I had some good goals set for myself. But I don't know, I guess I wasn't prepared for what life really was like.
Here's the last shipment, man. It's gotta go out today, all right?
Okay, I'll take care of it.
I was never an adult in the free world when I was a kid.
Hey, what are you doing for lunch? There's a new place on Main Street, a Mexican place. Here they have good fish tacos.
I already brought my lunch today, so maybe next time.
Yeah, next time.
After only 2 months on the outside, Norris is miserable. He feels disconnected from everyone around him and actually longs for the rush of his criminal past.
For some reason, I kind of got depressed. I wasn't happy.
Daryl, he's kind of a lost soul. He's always lived this imprisoned life. And I don't know if maybe he just got so used to that he didn't know how else to live.
That was the first time in my life I ever thought about suicide. I just wanted to either die or get the new life, whichever came first.
I think he has this perfect little picture in his mind of how life should be. He just don't know how to go about getting there.
Norris makes a rash decision. He will pull off one big heist and leave Texas and his old life behind.
Hey, this is Daryl. I got a little job I'm thinking about doing. I figured I had to rob a bank, give me a nice wad of money, and get out of the country. Is it good? Yeah? If I needed somebody to help me, having me be at the spot.
Norris meets up with an acquaintance named Robert.
So?
A 19-year-old hothead with a long rap sheet.
So what are you looking for?
A little job? I had to test him first to make sure he'd handle the job okay, so I'd take him on a smaller job first.
Okay. You got a gun?
No. Don't need a gun. I told him we could use fake guns.
Nah. You need a gun.
No, you don't need a gun. Trust me, man, I've done this.
You give me a gun or I'm out.
I couldn't talk him out of it, so I said, all right, I'll get you a real gun. We'll put it in your hand.
April 15th, 2008.
I had a hoodie on, and he had a beanie that he would pull over his face. All right, everybody, this is a robbery. Open the register. As I walk in, this man, he just attacked me. Hey, get off me! I forcefully pushed him off of me. Go ahead, open it. Come on, give me the money. Open it.
Then, things suddenly take an explosive turn. April 15th, 2008, Waller County, Texas.
All right, everybody, this is a robbery.
Ex-con Daryl Norris is in the middle of robbing a small-town convenience store
Hey, get off me! Give me the money.
when his plan goes terribly wrong.
Come on.
I looked over at the man, and he was holding his chest. And I see my partner running out the door. He started walking towards me. He fell to his knees. His head landed near my foot. And he quit moving.
The clerk has been shot through the heart. He dies almost instantly.
I lost it right then. I don't know how much time passed. Eventually, I snapped to.
Put the money in the bag. Hurry. Come on.
I turned to the woman.
Come on. Put it in the bag.
She talking to me and crying at the same time.
Hurry. Come on.
I took the money. I figured the best thing for me to do is get out of there as quickly as possible.
Come on, man. Go.
After a couple of miles away,
What were you thinking?
kind of went off on him.
Why did you do that?
That dude had a gun.
What?
He told me he pulled a weapon out on me. I never believed that.
He didn't have a gun.
He had a gun.
He just didn't care. He didn't care about anything.
Just moments later,
We need the ambulance, 5th and Main.
Brian Cantrell arrives at the scene.
We're gonna take care of this.
At the time, he's a lieutenant investigator for the local sheriff's department.
You know how tall they were.
It was a very horrible scene.
Dad, I can tell.
The surviving clerk, she's under all this stress, and it's tough when a victim is in that situation.
All right, we're gonna take care of this.
And the reaction that I saw from the law enforcement agents was, number one, a mood of anger, and number two, a mood of, we're gonna get this guy.
Check this out.
Chief Deputy Cantrell combs the scene for evidence.
Let's take some pictures.
Normally, tire treads, you would think 4 tires on a car are the same tread. In this situation, one of the tires had a different tread pattern than the other 3. And later, we get a call from a Good Samaritan advising us a vehicle left that area at a high rate of speed.
The Waller County Sheriff's Office is now on the hunt for the suspects.
That APB goes out to all law enforcement. He had a big target on his back.
Norris is shaken to the core by the murder. After spending 2 days locked in his room,
Hey, what's happened to you?
he finally confides in his sister.
You look terrible.
He was sweaty, nervous, and just sick to his stomach.
I robbed the store. Again. I had somebody help me that I didn't know. And he shot the clerk. He's dead, Denise.
I was devastated. I mean, I knew I was going to lose my brother again.
An innocent man lost his life for a few dollars. It was pointless.
Meanwhile, law enforcement is zeroing in on their target.
I think this is it.
We had a very good investigator, and he noticed the car that matched the description of the alleged getaway car.
This is definitely the car.
He also, just from plain view, could tell that, one tread tire was different than the other three.
I have to get out of here.
Leave?
You're gonna look for me. I gotta go. I went about getting ready, preparing myself to leave. I didn't know where I was gonna go.
Norris matches the description of one of the robbers. Authorities know they have their man.
Put your hands behind your back, please.
Norris is taken to the Waller County Jail. His accomplice Robert is arrested a few hours later.
Have a seat there.
Both of them face murder charges.
The sheriff says, we're not talking about how much time that you're gonna go to prison. We're talking about whether the district attorney's gonna ask for a needle to be put in your arm or not.
I didn't kill anybody. I didn't even have a gun.
In Texas, we have what's known as the law of parties. If you and I agree to commit a felony, even if I'm not the trigger man, then the law says I'm guilty of that murder as well.
Oh, sir, I didn't know that. That shocked me. It threw me out of whack completely. And I was numb at that point. Nobody was supposed to get shot. It was never part of the plan.
This confession came pretty soon after that.
Hey, come on, man. Let's get this game going. Let's roll.
Inside the jail, Norris takes stock of his new home.
We got a newbie coming up here. What's up, man?
A steel cell he will share with several other inmates.
What you up in here for?
It had a shower inside, a television, and it had one door to it.
Show you some cars?
Not right now, man.
Sign this time.
A tidal wave of reality washes over him. Even if he escapes the death penalty, he'll likely never see another day outside of a jail cell.
I felt that I was going to go away for life. So the first thing I'm thinking as soon as I go to jail is I want to escape. The jailhouse maybe 120 inmates, and only 3 jailers on the floor were required at a time.
Run that back.
So they were pretty relaxed. I guess they never expected an escape. Bam. You short timer? These other guys? One dude, I call him Big Head. He was facing a lot of time himself, too.
Look, man, I know what you're thinking, and it's hard, all right?
He knew what I was up to. I ain't staying here. No way. The light fixtures did not hang inside the room.
That thing is reinforced, man.
There's gotta be a way. They sat inside the attic on top of an inch-thick plexiglass, and over that plexiglass you had a set of bars.
Ain't worth it, Daryl.
I would have to go through the bars and the plexiglass just to get into the attic, and beyond that, I don't know what's up there. It's just blind faith.
It's a chance Norris is willing to take, but he needs a way to make it happen. 2 months pass.
What's up?
Then one day, Norris catches a break.
Check me out. What look like?
He had planned to escape with me if I was able to do it.
Check it out. Also, check this out.
He said, some teeth from the barber shear. He said, you think you can use that? I put it to the table and started sawing on the table, and I could see it made a little cut. And the first thing that came to my mind was those bars.
Hey, what's up, man? Why don't you keep up this nasty food, huh?
Just days later, Big Head unwittingly delivers the second crucial piece.
We not animals, man. What's wrong with y'all?
The door to the tank had a window, so he would argue with the jailers and talk crap to them all the time. There was a door that closed over the window. He decided he wanted to rip it off.
I didn't mean to do that.
He tore it off its hinges.
Hey, what don't hurt? No, don't say it. Hey, I didn't do it, man.
Norris eyes the hinge of the broken door. It would make the perfect handle for a saw.
I'm putting the blame on you, Jamal. That was all you, man. You provoked me.
I bent it in half and tied it down to the barber shears using thread out of sheets.
The next night, despite the risks, he immediately gets to work on the bars.
You good, man?
While Big Head keeps an eye out for the guards.
I was up on my knees. Your hands are above your head the whole time, and you're just sawing away like a Tasmanian devil. I couldn't hide. It's either do it in the open or not do it at all. And everybody in there understood my situation.
Man, if you ever get up out of here, man, look me up, man. I'm gonna be out there like next week.
You give me your number.
Hey, you my peoples now, man. All right, show.
Eventually, as the days wore on, I noticed that it was making a good cut.
After 3 long weeks of labor, Norris finally cuts through.
Oh, no, you did that. No.
I decided that it'd be best if I just bent the bar back and forth to get it off.
Hey, I got you.
I was in shape, but I needed help.
1, 2, 3.
I knew if I could get through the bars, the plexiglass would be nothing for me.
The inmates are so close to freedom, they can smell it. But that evening, it looks like their plan is about to unravel.
They come through and unexpectedly and do a shakedown.
There's a gaping hole in the bars above Norris's bed. And the guards are sure to see it. July 2008, Waller County Jail, Hempstead, Texas. Daryl Norris is awaiting trial for a botched robbery that ended in murder. He is in the middle of an attempted escape when the jailers launch a surprise inspection for contraband.
It wasn't just sawed, it was sawed completely off. The only thing I could think of is making a deal with them, so they wouldn't have to come in and shake down. Hey!
Norris turns on the charm and chats up the female jailer.
You're working hard tonight, huh? I did some small talk with her. Come on, don't be like that. I felt I had nothing to lose. I know what you want. I said, look, we know all the contraband y'all are after. We'll just pile it up for you.
All of it. Everything.
Yeah, everything.
He's wanting to give up all the contraband in his cell.
Norris watches in silent agony as the jailers debate.
Well, you better give us everything.
Oh, no problem.
Incredibly, his desperate ploy works.
I'm sorry, boys. Put all your contraband on the table. I owe you one. All right, we're getting it.
He got very lucky in that moment. Very lucky.
After sawing through a second bar, Norris inspects the plexiglass above his bed.
I learned here in prison that you could saw through plastic using string. The only problem was I needed to get the string through the plexiglass somehow. Hey, big head.
What's up?
You got any soap?
Yeah, man, but it's halfway used. You don't want it.
Get it, man.
Norris determines that the only way through the plastic is with fire.
Sure.
Yeah. I took a razor blade and put a piece of cloth over that and stuck it inside of a piece of soap so that it would stand straight up. That would be the wick. And I took baby oil and you place that inside of a bottle. The baby oil acts as wax.
All right. Watch out, guys.
Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing, bro?
I need the TV for a second.
The only thing that Norris is missing is a light.
Are you gonna put the TV back or not, man? What's going on?
The inmate puts his ingenuity to work.
Oh, watch something. What are you doing?
You have a positive and a ground, and you attach pencil lead to each side. All right, big head. Bring the toilet paper over. You need a third pencil lid to act as the bridge. Ready? You have to just tap it, tap, 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 and it causes sparks. All right, get in there.
Damn, Daryl. You a scientist.
So that's how I got my flame for my candle.
Over the next 2 nights, Norris uses the candle to burn 2 holes in the plexiglass. He then threads through a thick string made from bed sheets.
You just saw back and forth. I had to be careful because if it broke while I was sawing, then I had to rethread it, and that took a long time.
After 3 days, Norris slices through the plexiglass and climbs into the attic of the Waller County Jail. He then probes the flimsy ductwork of the air conditioning unit.
I just put all my weight into it, and it bent outward, and I felt the heat. It was summer heat. I pushed it all the way out. It just slipped right off. It was quiet. All I heard was one dog barking and some music playing off in the distance.
The fugitive surveys his surroundings. There's a drain pipe that extends from the roof down to the street below. It's an easy descent to freedom.
I knew at that point I was home free. I was elated, so take a deep breath of the fresh air, and then I crawl back to the hole.
Hey, big head, you coming?
Nah, man. I'm good, bro. That's all you.
All right.
For whatever reason, he probably decided it was highly likely that he might not make it, that he might be killed for escaping.
Norris ditches his prison jumpsuit and sprints off into the night.
I had one plan once I got outside the jail.
Man, if you ever get up out of here, man, look me up, man.
I had met a guy in there.
You give me your number. Yeah, you my peoples now, man.
He said, man, if you can get outside this jail, I will help you in any way you can.
Norris makes his way to the only nearby telephone and person he knows.
My dad, he lived about a mile from the jail.
He and his estranged father haven't spoken in more than 8 years.
I was reluctant to wake him up in the first place. Hey, Dad.
What are you doing here?
I need to use the phone. Get some clothes and some money. I didn't tell him that I escaped or anything, but he assumed something was up. I just told him, I had been bonded out. Come on.
Take off.
It was too odd of an experience to believe, you know. I didn't expect him to help anyway. I don't even know why I bothered him in the first place.
There's one other person who can help him. His sister, Denise. But she lives 20 miles away in the town of Hockley. Norris will have to make it all the way to her house before the cops. The fugitive decides it's safest to avoid major roads.
Full moon was out, so I was able to see where I was going. So I just kept moving.
Daybreak at the Waller County Jail. Chief Deputy Brian Cantrell learns Norris is gone.
Is there anything that you guys want to tell me now?
An escape is a huge issue. It's not something that happens very often.
We have a prison escapee. We need all available units within a 10-mile radius now.
The authorities know time is of the essence.
We neighbor the city of Houston, which has over 4 million. So he could very easily be lost in the big city.
A little over an hour later, the exhausted fugitive arrives at his sister's house.
It was a risk, big risk. I decided I'm gonna scope out the area first.
I was just fixing some tea.
Thank you.
Norris has no idea that law enforcement is already inside and hoping he'll show up. He's about to walk right into their hands. Murder suspect Daryl Norris is broken out of prison.
I was just fixing some tea.
Thank you.
He slowly approaches the back door of his sister's house, totally unaware that the cops have beat him there.
I'm sensing that he might have tried to contact you.
Norris stops in his tracks.
How's his bleeding? He's checking back door. Good.
He evades capture, but has nowhere left to turn.
Don't lie to us here.
For the desperate fugitive, it is a crushing blow.
At the time, I was pretty lost. I didn't know what I was gonna do at that point.
Norris desperately needs to find someone who will let him use their phone, so he can call his friend Jamal. It takes him a full day to come up with his next move.
I had no friends, but I had some acquaintances. And I figured my best shot would be to try to get a little help from them. I went to one guy's house, and he was a pretty good guy. I figured my best shot was with him.
Daryl. John, it's been a while, man. Yeah, it's good to see you. Can I use the phone?
Hey, man, I've been hearing a lot of stuff on TV.
He said, man, you're all over the news. I said, yeah, I know. I said, I need your help.
Man, I don't know. Look, man, I just need the phone for 1 minute, and then I'll get out of your head.
All right, real quick, man.
But as he's dialing Jamal's number, the man's roommate eyes him suspiciously.
He had a roommate that I didn't really care for.
Dude, it's cool. I used to work with him.
I expected him to call the cops on me. It's just he was acting real shaky and scared.
All right.
Norris keeps calling Jamal with no luck.
You gotta go, man. You gotta get out of here.
I knew I had to move fast.
All right, look, I'll go.
He just acted too scared.
You could offer me some clothes.
I said, well, hell, maybe you can offer me a few dollars and a change of clothes. He said, yeah, I can do that for you.
Thanks.
You gotta go.
Oh, you win, man.
What are you doing? Call the cops.
Now more than ever, Norris knows he must leave Hockley as soon as possible.
I have a destination in mind. That was go to the gas station, which was also a truck stop. I figured I could hop on a truck somehow.
Sheriff's office.
Chief Deputy Cantrell receives his first big tip.
Okay.
As Norris suspected,
What was he wearing?
his acquaintance's roommate has ratted him out.
All right. What direction was he headed?
That let us know that he wasn't as far away as that we originally thought.
Okay.
That made us a little more confident. So you want to look in that immediate area and try to find the path that he took.
As dusk approaches, police swarm the streets of Hockley. Meanwhile, Norris reaches a truck stop on the outskirts of town.
I find one good truck. It had lumber and everything, and I crawl up on top of it. All the truck drivers are in their cabs asleep. I lay down, and I watch this helicopter fly back and forth over the neighborhood with its spotlight. I just waited for the truck driver to wake up.
Early the next morning, Norris is awakened by the vibration of the truck's engine as it leaves the station. It appears he's home free.
I was relieved. I was, I was happy. I was jumping with joy.
That morning, the Waller County Sheriff's Office is faced with the fact that Norris has slipped away.
We got any leads? He's on the move. It's very frustrating, and it's always in the back of your mind that you may never catch this person.
Send as many as needed. I'm on it. The tracks on his trail went cold. It was highly likely that he was going to get away and we would never see Daryl Norris again.
Any idea on the direction it may have been headed?
I was angry because it had taken so much effort to get him in custody the first time. We had to get him back.
More than 40 miles away, law enforcement's worst fears have come true. The lumber truck and Norris arrive in Houston, Texas.
It pulls into its stop where it's going to unload its lumber at. I hop down off the truck and I just take off. I walk out of the area like nothing, right? Nobody's seen me.
Norris walks the streets until he spots a budget motel. He decides to get a room to rest, regroup, and call for his ride.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing great, how are you?
Oh, pretty good. I don't have a reservation. I was hoping maybe you should have something open.
I told her I had a little bit of cash on me. Enough to pay for a room if she'd let me get it.
It's no problem.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Do you have your ID on you so I can sign you in?
You know what, actually, I don't have an ID. I'm so stupid. I lost my wallet.
She conspiratorially whispered,
It's totally fine. Don't worry about it.
"Yeah, it's okay. I got you." Shh.
Sign the form and I'll get your key ready for you.
So she gives me a form and I fill it out with a bunch of bogus information. And we're chatting at the same time.
So you been around here long?
Yeah.
Things are going well for the fugitive until suddenly his heart stops.
You look so familiar. I don't mean to be foreign or anything, but I swear I've seen your face from somewhere.
Behind the desk was a television. It was on the news, and I knew then it was a bad idea to do this.
Are you from around here?
No, just in town.
If Norris can't distract her, it's game over for the fugitive.
Your face looks so familiar.
July 2008, Houston, Texas. Escaped murder suspect Daryl Norris decides to check into a cheap motel and hide out.
You look so familiar. I swear I've seen your face from somewhere.
No, I'm just in town visiting right now.
But the fugitive panics when he sees his face splashed across the motel lobby's TV.
You're from Buckhorn?
Yeah.
I'm from Buckhorn.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
I had put down some bogus city, right? Just one off the top of my head, and it turned out to be one that she lived at when she was a little girl growing up.
Did you go to Buckhorn High?
That must be where I know your face from.
Right?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, maybe that's where we crossed paths or something. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, that's so crazy. Here's your key.
After an agonizing couple of minutes,
Okay, great.
the clerk hands Norris his room key. Being on the run is beginning to take a serious toll.
It was all troubling all the way through. There was no relief, really.
Safely in his room, Norris begins working the phone. Finally, he gets a hold of Jamal
Jamal! Yeah! Oh, it's so good to hear your voice.
and asks for a ride to the Mexican border.
And him and I were pretty tight. So he says, man, I've been watching you on the news.
Yeah. I know. Look, I just need a ride.
He said, yeah, man, I'll help you out.
All right. See you soon.
Jamal agrees to pick him up in a few hours. But that afternoon, the meeting time comes and goes. Nora starts to get nervous.
I called him again. He had forgotten about his sister's birthday party.
What?
And he wanted to go there for about an hour or two.
All right.
And then he'd pick me up, right?
Count on you.
Norris is growing suspicious of Jamal, but he decides to roll the dice and stay put.
He was pretty much my last option.
Sheriff's Department.
Meanwhile, Waller County officers get an anonymous tip.
Motel on 7th and Main? Okay.
We received a call from our dispatchers who said there is a person calling in saying that Norris was at a hotel in Houston. Thank you.
Chief Deputy Cantrell immediately notifies the Houston Police Department.
That was very exciting, and that resulted in a massive number of law enforcement agents converging on that hotel in Houston.
Back at the motel, Jamal still hasn't shown up. Norris decides he's got to keep moving. He wonders if Jamal turned him in.
I realized he was stalling. I realized that I shouldn't even be dealing with him at all.
But it's too late. Officers from the Houston PD have arrived and are surrounding the motel.
I keep peeking out the window, and at one point I see the shadows out in the parking lot. Thinking, damn, I hope that's not police. I decided, man, I don't want to get stuck in this room. There's nothing I can do. Doing a standoff wouldn't do nothing.
The fugitive casually walks to the pool, hoping to hide in plain sight until he has a chance to slip away.
What's going on?
I think that's it right there.
Stop right there. Don't move. Don't move.
I know I'm busted. I just slide in the pool. I mean, why not, right?
Get out! Get out of the pool, Norris! Get out of the pool!
They had their guns drawn, told me to put my hands up and get out.
Come on! Get out! Get out! Get over here!
I was upset that my plan had fell through.
Norris, get out of the pool! Get over here! I'm not gonna tell you again!
I got caught, that was it. There's nothing you can do.
Covered.
When I got that call that he was in custody, I was ecstatic. And it was very important to me that we make sure that we keep our hands on him this time so that he could be brought to justice.
Norris and his accomplice stand trial for murder. Norris receives 45 years. His partner Robert gets a 75-year sentence. Norris will be eligible for parole in 2030.
I'm sorry he lost his life. I wish it had never happened, but if I brood over it throughout my time, it's gonna it'll destroy me.
What I would say to my brother is he has family that love him and will always support him.
I would just tell my sister I wish we could start over, you know? Just go back to the beginning. It'd all be different.
Thank you for watching Investigation Discovery on Demand.